So before DTS, I graduated high school in June. I also was 17, just turned 18 in June. I'd grown up in a Christian household, and I just really was praying for the next steps of my life. I knew I wanted God to take me on an adventure. I wasn't sure what it was going to look like, if it was going to be college, or if I was just going to live in a van somewhere. So then one day I came up to my mom and my dad, and I was like, hey, there's a program out in Hawaii where I can learn more about the Lord, and then I can go out to a nation and be the hands and feet of Jesus, and I think this is where the Lord wants me to go. And so having my Bible and my 5th journal from that same month, I flew out to Maui and was excited just to learn more about the Lord and to see some other countries and see what God was doing outside of my bubble of small town Texas. I think in lecture phase I had showed up to YWAM ready to change a lot about me, just because I felt like what I was already good at, what I had hobbies in, photo and film, was just some high school thing I really liked to do, and I thought ministry was only living overseas or dedicating your entire life to live in an orphanage, which is something people do, but that was my concept of ministry. And so really over the months of lecture phase, the Lord really showed me that every person is a minister and every industry is a ministry, and what He'd already equipped me in showing people what joy looks like, having fun, taking true film and photos that can capture a moment and also relate the gospel to someone. He really showed me that in that time that's something He had already prepared long ago for me to step into. And there's so much grace in that, and so much mercy in that, and there's room to mess up, but being creative is worship for the Lord. So there's actually a really cool story. On outreach we were doing English corners, and so I really had to ask the Lord for His vision on that. But in asking Him His vision for that, He reminded me once again there is ministry everywhere, and ministry doesn't have one specific face. And so there was one day I challenged myself to take my camera wherever I went, and I was going to meet people through just taking street photography or portraits and build relationships that way along with the English corners we were doing. And so while we were doing an English corner one day, I noticed this young Muslim woman, and she was outside in the snow drinking some tea. I felt in that moment I saw her through the Lord's eyes, and I saw a heart worth capturing and someone worth adoring. And so I went over to her. She spoke no English. We used Google Translate, and I asked if I could take a photo of her. And so I took the photo, got called back into the English corner, and 5 minutes later she came running in to find me, and through Translate asked me for my name and my number. And a week later, me and her were sitting on top of this mountain that overlooked the city. We're sitting right under an imam prayer shack, and she started telling me about how Islam has gripped her life, and I shared Jesus with her. And the Lord really relayed in me in that moment every person is a minister and every industry is a ministry. Ministry doesn't have one specific face, it's what the Lord has already gifted you in to also do.